open court.
Oyez, oyez. Silence is commanded for the justices of the Supreme Court of Kentucky while they are sitting. All those having pleas to make or causes to prosecute, draw nigh and you shall be heard. This court is now in session. God save the Commonwealth and God save this honorable court.
You may be seated. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Law Day celebration. I welcome you to this celebration about the rule of law for Law Day 2025. We're also honored to include our brand new soldiers for the rule of law today, our most recent members of the Kentucky Bar. And a special welcome to family and friends who are here today in support. Okay. All right, so I don't know that the microphone is on. Is it on? Okay, so I have to bend over, right? Okay, but back to our Law Day purpose. Today's National Law Day theme, the Constitution's promise, out of many, one is our theme. Back in 1957, the president of the American Bar Association, Charles Rhine, envisioned a national day to celebrate our legal system. The following year, President Dwight D. Eisenhower made that vision a reality by proclaiming Law Day as a day of national dedication to our great heritage of liberty, justice, and equality under the law. Law Day in America stood as a sharp contrast to the May Day celebration of military might displayed in the Soviet Union. Now, nearly 75 years later, the United States of America and our legal system is strong and vibrant, although some might point to a little fraying along the edges. Each year, Law Day provides a new opportunity to expand the awareness of our legal and judicial systems and their impact on our lives. It offers us a chance to reflect upon our nation's constitutional heritage and to appreciate the vital contribution an informed and active citizenry makes to our constitutional government. The theme for the day is the Constitution, out of many, one. This year's theme urges us to take pride in a Constitution that bridges our differences to bring us together as a united nation. Shortly after the Declaration of Independence was adopted by our Continental Congress on July 4th, 1776, a committee to design the seal for the United States was appointed. The committee members, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams, came up with a very complicated seal that was promptly rejected by Congress. However, one feature of that design and the seal originally adopted the motto of E pluribus unum, or out of many, one. And that phrase, of course, was born out of the idea that the 13 colonies emerged as a single nation. Today, E pluribus unum appears on the seals of the United States House of Representatives, the Senate, the President, the Supreme Court, and the Army. And the phrase is recognized as our country's de facto motto. E pluribus unum reflects a core principle of our nation and our system of government, that despite all of our differences, we can come together and work toward the greater good. Our Constitution embodies that idea by establishing a representative democracy that depends on our collective participation. It calls on each of us to fulfill our civic responsibility, not for professional or personal gain, but for the benefit of the society as a whole. That spirit of shared duty was the promise of our Constitution, and it has stood the test of time. This year's Labor Day theme, or Law Day theme, invites us to reflect on an important fact. Unity, not uniformity, is what allows us to pursue justice and progress. As new lawyers, I encourage each of you to embrace this principle and carry it forward in your own careers. Now, I would like to introduce my colleagues, justices of the Kentucky Supreme Court. We have Deputy Chief Robert Conley from the 7th District in Boyd County. Next is Justice Michelle Keller from the 6th District, hailing from Kenton County. Justice Pamela Goodwine, 5th District, Fayette County. Justice Angela McCormick Bissick, Jefferson County, 4th District. And a special note, Justice Bissick will have a unique honor today, that is to present her son, John Logan Bissick, his bar membership certificate. And she was also able to sign that certificate. And I know in my heart, having a child of my own who's an attorney, that the signature of many of the guests here today will be invisible signatures on your loved one's certificate as well. Justice Kelly Thompson was not able to be with us here today. Justice Shay Nickel from the 2nd District in McCracken County is here. And we are very pleased to welcome the President of the Kentucky Bar Association, Rhonda Jennings Blackburn. Madam President. Okay, and we also are here today to hear from our Kentucky Auditor of Public Accounts, Allison Ball, as our last speaker today. And on November 7th, 2023, Allison Ball was elected as the 48th Auditor of the Public Accounts of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Prior to her election as auditor, she served 2 terms as Kentucky State Treasurer, where she emerged as a national leader in advancing financial literacy. During her tenure, she established the Kentucky Financial Empowerment Commission and successfully championed for the adoption of a financial literacy requirement for high school graduation. Before serving in statewide office, Ms. Ball, Allison Ball, served for 4 years as Assistant Floyd County Attorney, where she prosecuted child abuse and juvenile delinquency cases. A Floyd County native with deep Kentucky roots dating back to the 1790s, Ball earned her law degree from the University of Kentucky College of Law. Allison and her husband, Dr. Asa James Swan, are the proud parents of 2 children, Levi and Marigold. Please join me in welcoming the Commonwealth's Auditor of Public Accounts, Allison Ball.
May it please the court, Madam Chief Justice. This is an honor to be here today because I have stood in your shoes back in 2008, which now seems like a long time ago, but really isn't that long. I was exactly where you are right now. In the fall of 2008, I was getting ready to be admitted to the bar, having just passed the bar exam. Such a relief that was. I know the tension that you felt for the last few months as you've been waiting your results. Some of you have been working, some of you have been waiting to work until you got to this moment. So I know exactly what this feels like. A few years ago, I also had the honor to make the motion to present to the court my brother when he got admitted after passing the bar exam. So I know full well what your family feels like today. And I remember when I got sworn in, Justice Will T. Scott is actually the one who swore me in, because at that point in time they did it by your division. And I remember there was a moment where he said, look around you at the people who have been supportive of you to get you here. The ones who have believed in you, who have encouraged you when it's been discouraging, who have known the whole time that you would eventually pass the bar and you would sit in these seats. So he told me, look around, and for me it was finding my mom and dad. I think this is an appropriate moment, if you could, just look around for those people, if it's your grandma, if it's your husband, whoever it is who's been a part of your life to get you here. This is a wonderful moment to just sort of look at them and know what they have put in, what they have built to get you here at this point. So if you could quietly just look at the people who brought you here for just a brief second. Very good. Thank you, because they deserve thanks for this momentous moment in your lives for being here too. You have worked hard, you deserve this, but they are a part of your success to here today. So in 2008, I sat in your seats. It was actually in a different room, but I sat in your seats and I thought about the practice of law. And I want to tell you something that you already know. You are embarking in an honorable profession. You have the privilege, and it really is a privilege, to be officers of the court. You are bastions of the Constitution. You are going to preserve justice. You are going to fight for what's right. You are going to make a difference in people's lives. And it really starts today. So congratulations to you. This is a huge moment. And I remember thinking to myself in 2008, what led me to get there? Why did I want to practice law? And I thought back to my early year, first year in college, and I did an internship here in Frankfort at the Capitol, and I had an interest in policy at that point in time. I really wanted to make a difference in people's lives, just like every single one of you. And I remember observing that everybody who was an elected official, there was a majority of them who were lawyers. And I thought, this means something. And I began to think about the Constitution and the importance of, if you want to serve in government, you need to know what really works. What does the Constitution really mean? What do laws really mean? How do we preserve justice? How do we preserve the law? And I thought, you know what, I think I want to go into the law. I want to practice law. And that was that early seed of doing that. And I then remembered, have another very personal experience where I was on a trip with a friend out of state, and my friend, due to a total misunderstanding, walked through the wrong door of a hotel and ended up getting arrested because a security guard thought that they were going the wrong way, called the police, and arrested my friend. And I remember immediately getting on the phone, calling all the lawyers I knew back in Floyd County. What do we do in this instance? And I remember feeling very helpless. And I thought, you know what? I want to practice law. I want to be a lawyer. If I was already a lawyer, I would know what to do right now. And I thought, this is it. This is my decision. I'm going to become a lawyer, and I'm going to practice law. Thankfully, that story ended well. It was dismissed, and everything was resolved in that situation. But it was a mistake. It was a total unjust mistake that happened. And I remember thinking, okay, I want to be someone who gets the phone call to help people in those kinds of moments. I had the privilege after that to clerk for a family court judge in Fayette County, and I thought, you know what? You have the ability to impact the most vulnerable people if you're practicing law. So I spent a period of time in Lexington helping foster kids, helping people going through the worst possible moments of their lives, helping them to get on track, which led me then to decide I want to go back home to the mountains of eastern Kentucky, and I got to do something that is one of my greatest experiences and something I hope some of you get the opportunity to do, and that is to be a small town lawyer. You have never known the importance of community until you have been a small town lawyer. I practiced at Vanderbilt Hall and Bartley doing plaintiff's work for a period of time, and we did a little bit of everything. We had an expertise, but we were people who could be there for you with whatever was going on in your lives. And I remember having the elderly ladies who would come into us because they got a bill that they didn't understand, or they had some other issue that they just did not know, and we were their lawyers. So they would always come to us because to them we were like family. I remember two older spinster sisters that would bring to us carrot cake, the best carrot cake that I've ever had, and they would regularly bring us carrot cake because we were their lawyers. And that is one of the greatest privileges, to be somebody's lawyer. That you may be in a big firm and you may be representing a large corporation, and that is great and that is meaningful, and you are their lawyers. It is a wonderful privilege to be somebody's lawyer. From that experience, I also got to do appellate work, and I realized I loved the intellectual stimulation of appellate work. And some of you are going to experience this. My first year at Vanderbilt Hall and Bartley, I got to write an appellate brief, and the day before oral arguments were set to happen, I was told, hey, you're going to make the oral arguments. So the night before, I was frantically reading through all of my arguments, preparing and being ready, and then we ended up winning that case. These are the moments that you're going to be having in the next year, the next 3 years, the next 5 years of your life. From that experience, I became an assistant county attorney, and I realized again the importance of public servants, what you can do to impact somebody's life. It's one of the greatest moments of my life. I loved every second of it. I remember being thrown into the courtroom without really knowing a whole lot. I remember feeling like I was learning a foreign language in the moment because they gave me maybe an afternoon to kind of learn the ropes, and then it was like, here are your files, go for it. That's going to be happening to you in the next few months. Get ready, be ready for it. But it was a tremendous exercise, and because of my legal training, I could think like a lawyer, I was ready to go, and I had the right convictions to make sure that justice was achieved and we were helping people and making a difference. That's going to be you in the next few months. From that experience, I then practiced bankruptcy law, and from that, I developed a heart for helping people with financial literacy. People get into all kinds of trouble if they don't know what to do when they get medical bills that they were not expecting, or their business is struggling and they don't know what to do. So that was a tremendous experience. I've had a gambit, and you are going to have those experiences too. I then ran for elected office, ran for state treasurer, ran for state auditor. I've won 2 offices as treasurer and then 1 as auditor. And people will sometimes say to me when they find out you've been treasurer, you're an auditor, they're like, oh, you're a CPA. And I always tell them with great pride, no, I'm a lawyer. And if you look at who served in these roles in Kentucky history, almost all of them have been lawyers, because we understand the Constitution, we preserve the Constitution, we as an executive enforce the law, we are trained to do this, we are ready to go. And when we take that oath to uphold the Constitution, when we serve in these roles, we know exactly what that means. So it is a privilege and an honor to be first and foremost a lawyer as I serve in public service as an elected official representing you in the auditor's office. Well, that's my history, that's my background. I love the law. I love it with all my heart. I was speaking to somebody just recently and they said, aren't you glad you made the decision to go to law school? Aren't you glad that you're a lawyer? And I could say, absolutely. I am honored and I am thrilled to be a part of what you are now a part of, this tremendous club where we are officers of the court. We make a difference for our communities. We make a difference for our country. You now have this wonderful privilege to serve in this way. And as I sit down and you get to the really important part, because I know that I'm just your interlude till you actually get sworn in and this is real. As I sit down, I was thinking about what's some advice to tell you, and I've got a few, really just three things that I want to leave you here. You probably won't remember much of what I've said after today, but maybe if you remember these 3 things, I think they're going to help you. The first thing that I want to leave you with is to have an absolute unwavering commitment to integrity. I know that you've been told this through your law school career. I hope this is built into you so that way this is already unwavering. But I want to tell you something that has been told to me repeatedly, and it is absolutely true. All you have is your reputation. Your integrity matters absolutely. And I have practiced with lawyers who have not held that commitment. I remember being in my first few years out of law school and being with people who had been friends of mine in law school and seeing them do things that were not consistent with being people of integrity. So I want to encourage you, have that absolute commitment to integrity. You are representative of all the finest and best things of America. You have an obligation to be the people of the highest integrity. So I want to encourage you, have that unwavering commitment to being people of integrity. The second thing I want to say to you is don't lose the joy and the zest of the practice of law. This is a wonderful profession. It is intellectually stimulating. It is worthwhile. You make a difference in someone else's life. What more could you possibly want to do with your life? Don't lose the joy and the zest of what you're about to do. You're going to have deadlines, and you're going to have stress, and you're going to have discovery that's going to happen right before Thanksgiving. Even when that happens to you, don't lose the joy and the zest of the practice of law. It is absolutely worth it. And this is another thing that I have learned, many of us have learned the hard way. But I remember my favorite law professor, Paul Salamanca, telling me when I was getting ready to sit for the bar, and I was going through all the bar prep stuff that you have just gone through. And I remember Professor Salamanca, he met with me, and he would meet with a few other students who he had a close relationship with. And he would tell us, hey, as you're practicing and you're getting ready to take this exam, which is so hard, you remember you are a whole person. You can't study all day long. You are a whole person, and you're going to bring your A game to this exam if you remember that you are, in fact, a whole person. So you have to preserve your relationships. You have to preserve your health. You have to recreate. You have to have some fun while you're doing this. And I'll tell you, the practice of law will consume all of you if you let it. So I want to encourage you, remember that you are a whole person. Remember that the relationships in your lives matter. You're going to bring your A game. You're going to be a better lawyer if you remember that you are a whole person. So protect your mental health. Do your job, do it well, but protect yourself and protect your relationships. Be a good spouse, be a good child to your parents, be a good grandchild, be a good friend, be a good parent. You can do those things and practice well. You will be a better lawyer if you remember to yourself, I am a whole person. Preserve and focus on your spiritual life. All of these things matter in being who you are. Bring this to your legal practice. Bring this to who you are, because you're going to be a better lawyer when you focus on that. And don't lose sight of that. It's easy, especially in your early years, to lose sight of that. Give it your all. Fight hard, focus hard, but remember that you're a whole person. So with that, congratulations on a remarkable achievement. I am proud of each and every one of you. I look forward to seeing what you're going to do to make Kentucky better. I look forward to seeing what you're going to do to make America better. You're going to make a difference. I know I will see some of you. You might even, I might see you in the auditor's office at some point in time. But I will see you in your career as you move forward. God bless you. I am proud of you. Go make a difference. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Auditor Ball. The Liberty Bell Award was established more than 40 years ago to acknowledge outstanding community service, and the award is given to someone who promotes a better understanding of our government and contributes to the effective functioning of our institutions of government, stimulates a deeper sense of individual responsibility, and encourages a greater respect and appreciation for the rule of law. This year's recipient of the award is Allison Ball.
So good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's an honor.
Thank you very much. All right. And now it is time to recognize KBA President, Madam President Rhonda Jennings Blackburn. I believe you have an important motion.
I might have one. I will echo Allison Ball that even though it was 29 years ago, I still very distinctly remember this time and that feeling. So soak it in and enjoy it. My name is Rhonda Blackburn. I am president of the Kentucky Bar Association, and without a doubt, this is the best thing I do all year long. So without further ado, may it please the court, justices of the Kentucky Supreme Court and honored guests, it is my duty and honor to move the court that the individuals who appear before you here today be admitted to the office of attorney and counselor at law, and be allowed to appear as such before all courts in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. In support of this motion, I represent that all individuals have successfully completed their academic training. They have been found to be of good moral character by the Character and Fitness Committee, and they have successfully completed examination by the Kentucky Board of Bar Examiners. These individuals are well qualified to assume their office as attorney at law and become members of the Kentucky Bar Association and officers of the Supreme Court of Kentucky. And that is my motion.
Thank you, Madam President. Your motion is joyfully granted. All right, we have now reached that point in our program where most of these new lawyers and their family members have been waiting for many, many years. In just a few moments, the new attorneys will step forward to take a solemn oath to support the U.S. Constitution and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. For any who would be interested in knowing, Thomas Jefferson himself was involved in drafting the Kentucky Constitution after his work on the federal Constitution. And just bear with me for a moment while I read from a dissent in Commissioners of Sinking Fund versus George, an 1898 decision of then Kentucky's highest court. And here's the quote. When Mr. Jefferson returned from France, the federal Constitution had been adopted, and he obtained permission to go to Monticello for some months. John Breckinridge and George Nicholas paid him a visit there and informed him that Kentucky was about to frame a constitution for herself and that Virginia was about to permit Kentucky to become a separate and independent state. He told them that there was a danger in the federal Constitution because the clause defining the powers of the departments of government was not sufficiently guarded, and the first thing to be provided for in the Kentucky Constitution should be to confine the judiciary to its powers and the legislative and executive to theirs. Mr. Jefferson drew the form of the provision and gave it to Nicholas in Breckenridge, and it was taken by Nicholas to the convention that met in Danville and there presented it, Breckenridge not being present at the convention. There was much discussion and dissent when the article was offered, but when the author was made known, the respect of Kentucky for the great name of Jefferson carried it through, and it was once adopted. With that historical note, I'm happy to proceed with President Rhonda Jennings Blackburn, and we will be ready to administer the oath for the new attorneys here today. All right, would you please rise? And to give you the answer for this question at the end is I do. Some of you may have said that formally before, but if not, this is, again, the time to say I do. Would you raise your right hands? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as you continue a citizen thereof, and that you will faithfully execute to the best of your ability the office of attorney at law according to law? And do you further solemnly swear or affirm that since the adoption of the present Constitution, that you, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state nor out of it, nor have you sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have you acted as a second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending, so help you God? Congratulations. Madam President, will you call the roll of Kentucky's newest attorneys?
With pleasure. Congratulations, you're bona fide now. As I call your name, step forward to receive your congratulations and your certificate to practice law in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Justin B. Epperson. Megan Elizabeth Bailey. Hannah Rose Barker. Bariah Genesis Benavides Marsh. James Xavier Benson. John Logan James Bizig. Catherine Francis Bluell. Anthony Raymond Bradley. Nicholas Clayton Birch. Joseph Hendrick Burke. Brittany Ann Cavender. Megan Paisley DeMonbran. Kayla Allison Duguid. Sydney Renee Draper. Malak Abubakar El Amri. Peyton Bryce Fergus. Samantha Danielle Floro. Jesse Lloyd Foreman. Keyston Jaron Hall. Kelsey Hammond. Jordan Blaine Hancock. Nicholas Adam Hodges. Austin Lloyd Huff. Kimberly Dawn Hunstad. James Harmon Jordan Jr. Sarah Jordan. Madeline Grace Kelly. Abigail Sierra Kenyon. John Paul Clapeek. Aaron Connor Markert. Rebecca Sue McCarty. Griffin Austin McLemore. Erin Nicole McQuarrie. Jared Clay Million. Delaney Jane Paneer. Roshni Ajay Patel. Natalie Jean Patey. Lauren Ashley Simone Reed. Thomas Bradley Rebar. Savannah Claire Roberts. Parker Jared Root. McKenna Irene Schrage. Kathleen Dorothy Smith. Eleanor Ann Stess. James Gage Stone. Tiffany Tagaloa. Chase Andrew Thomas. Abigail Marie Thompson. Cecilia Holly Walton. And last but certainly not the least, Kara Marie West. Congratulations to you all, and welcome to the family.
Wow. I see stars, and it's not from the flash. I see stars from our new lawyers who are here. I just can't wait to watch your stories unfold as you become guardians of the rule of law in Kentucky. Congratulations. In closing, I want to again recognize our speaker and this year's Liberty Award winner, the Auditor Allison Ball. And I want to remind you of your obligation to your new profession that starts today, to make the system of justice that we all love and treasure available to all citizens by contributing a portion of your knowledge to pro bono work and by participating in community and civic skills. It is and causes. It is a sense of community that will power the whole person that Auditor Ball mentioned. So make sure to remember to be involved in your local community. There is a reception upstairs on the mezzanine that is hosted by the Young Lawyers Division. I encourage each of you to stop by and pause in this moment. Don't be in a rush today. Pause in this moment and enjoy your accomplishment and your family's commitment and your friends' commitment to your success today. Congratulations again. Madam Clerk, would you adjourn court?
All rise. This court shall stand adjourned, subject to the call